But if this is what children are taught, what I just read to you, you are leading children to hell.
When Jesus showed up in a culture that was struggling with political unrest, racial division, and religious abuse, he disrupted the system. And that is where critical theory meets Christianity. This is where they shake hands, because it is all about systems. It's all about political powers, political structures. Jesus overturned the tables at the temple because of the political structures, because of the systemic, the systemic influences that were happening inside of the temple. It's all about overturning the systems of his day. That is why he came.
So it's reimagining our faith through the lens of the critical social theories. That's what that wording signals to you.
But yes, and it's a reimagining or a redefinition of the gospel itself. That Christ did not come to redeem, to save humanity, to save a very fallen. We are fallen, depraved people.
Children of wrath.
Children of wrath. We wasn't good before, you know? And this moves us away from that to say that, well, it was about the system. It's the system that is, you know, wrong. If we just fix the system, then surely we will be okay. No, you can fix the system all day long. I'm still a mess. Maybe not you, but I am.
It was interesting when I was going through the strategy document that we were looking at earlier. I did a quick word search for keywords like redemption, saved, salvation. All of those came up with 0 hits. Sin, there was 1 hit, but there was a lot of hits on, you know, more of a psychology type words and identity and that sort of thing. And so it does seem like there's this kind of subtle drift that's happening here. So, all right, go ahead, Elisa, and keep going there with reading through that.
So Jesus filled a hurting and skeptical world with hope. Many of Jesus' recorded teachings demonstrate how he appealed to the image of God in every human. He instructed humans on how they should treat humans. Jesus reprioritized love. You know what? He did do that. He did fill a world with hope, but it leaves so much out. Like Natasha noticed even about the belief statement, there's nothing about judgment. There's nothing about hell in that statement. And right here, it's basically just saying Jesus basically came to be a good moral teacher. That's what you're going to find also in progressive Christianity, is that he's not really requiring you to trust in him for your salvation and make him Lord of your life. He came to, reprioritize love. He came to disrupt systems and things like that. And it said, many of his recorded teachings, and that's another catchphrase you'll hear in progressive Christianity. It's like the life and teachings of Jesus help me to XYZ, rather than the person and work of Jesus Christ saves me from my sin, right? Those are 2 very different messages. And it goes on to say, everything Jesus said and did then is still true now. This generation desperately needs a demonstration of faith, church, leadership, and community that is human and that embraces their humanity like Jesus did. Jesus was sinless. He was fully God, fully human. He's not in this sense like, oh, we look at how Jesus embraced his humanity, so that's what we need to do. Let me answer this question. I'm sorry, this really gets to me. It says, so what would it look like to keep leading with that end in mind? What if we embraced both the teachings of Jesus and the words of Paul when he named what it means to demonstrate the fruits of the Spirit lived out in our human lives? What if we demonstrated how to be, and then they say all their words? Well, I want to answer that question. And I mean this. I'm not saying that everything leading up to this point with Orange applies to what I'm about to say. But if this is what children are taught, what I just read to you, you are leading children to hell. I can't say it any clearer or more strongly than that. If this is the gospel message that you communicate to children, you are not giving them the saving reality of the gospel, and you are misleading them into a belief system that will lead them to hell.
And I'm just going to add on that, to tell a child, love God and love your neighbor is what Christianity is about. will not lead them to heaven. They must have the gospel. They must know what Jesus has done for them to allow them to love God, to allow them to love their neighbor. This is when this really starts to matter.
And I will add from a very practical, like hands-on standpoint, before I worked with that church with Orange, I had a lot of this mindset anyway. And now when I look at my kids who are grown, they are all great humans. But that's basically it. They're great humans. There's not a lot of kids that still have relationship with Jesus. They're like, I look at their pictures and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I know you're a great person and you have a great career and you're half naked on Instagram. Like there isn't a aspect, like I said earlier, of what does it mean to be a righteous person? What does it mean to follow Jesus, to actually be a disciple of Jesus? And so when children's leaders, when we offer kids, more morality, we offer them something that isn't attached to the gospel, that isn't truly attached to what it means to be a follower of Christ. Eventually they just end up being good adults, but there's no attachment to God. There's no attachment to the scripture and to the word and what that means in their heart for them to walk out.